Alright, so last week we were here trying to figure out, why my car stalled out on me, why my battery keeps draining, why this doesn't work like it's supposed to work. After, doing some research on a couple forums, after, looking forever for a solution, I came across something that, might actually fix this finally. So as you guys know, my gauge cluster doesn't work. I've had like 4 batteries in this car now. We might be fixing it today. Alright, so this little box right here has a replacement ignition switch, which the forum's alright, and it should be because it's on the internet and everything on the internet is true. Then this right here should fix my little issue. Welcome to Project Pony episode, I don't even know. Set the intro.
Guitar like a young Santana, rapping VT like my name Bernie Sanders, living 2 lives like my name.
So if you guys watched last week's video, then I ended up replacing my battery again on this car. That's like my 4th one in about like a year, 6 months. I don't even know at this point. So yeah, my theft light is on. Whenever your car dies and then you get a new battery, it stays on. Or it comes on, I should say. If you go for a drive and then shut off your car, that should go away, right? Well, in my car, it doesn't for some reason. Again, that's what we're trying to figure out here. First things first, obviously, anytime you're working with electronics, unhook your battery so you don't mess anything up or get electrocuted or anything like that. So replacing the ignition switch on one of these is actually pretty straightforward. It's going to be under your steering wheel, under this little plastic cover. We're going to start by taking that off. I believe there's like another metal cover under there, and then it should be just like right up in here. All right, so under your car, like I said, you got to take off this little cover. To do that, you have a 8mm bolt right here, and then another 8mm bolt over here on this side. So you take both of those off, and then this cover should come out, pretty easily. All right, with that plastic cover off, you're gonna have another metal cover under here. To take that little plastic off, it's just held together by some clips. Don't be afraid to pull it, but of course, be careful because those do break pretty easily. And then over here to take this one off, it's pretty straightforward. You got another 8mm bolt right here, one over here on this side. All right, so now once you get that little plastic cover and that metal cover off, your switch is actually pretty easy to find. So you're going to look for this little yellow wire right here, and it's going to be this right here, this whole like casing area right here. You actually can take it off having it up here, but if you want to make it easier, it's got a star bit right here, and then it's got another one on this other side up here. It's kind of hard to see because it's dark in here, but that's super easy to take off. I want to say that's like a T27. Yeah, T27 is just being held up by 2 bolts. Just take both those off and then that should drop down. So now that I have a little bit more room, once you take off those 2 bolts, the switch itself, you should be able to like bring that down a little bit so you can actually have a little bit more room to work with. And then you see that bolt like right there, that's gonna be a 7mm. You take that one off, and then the switch itself right here on the left, I have the old switch, new one on the right. I mean, I'm not really saying anything wrong with the old one. Again, I looked up at the forum. A lot of the symptoms I'm having with my car point to a faulty ignition switch. We're gonna replace it either way. One thing to keep in mind with these, you see this little like thing right here? So this part actually, I don't know what to call it, but like it connects to like right under your car, where I guess like your steering column would be, or where like the ignition actually connects to. So make sure you don't really touch the position your old one is. And the new one, it was already kind of like in the same position as the old one, but I mean, these are pretty easy to move. Like if you need to move it, you can move it. I recommend just not messing around with it like I am. We're gonna pop this in, and then before I put all of this back together, I'm gonna hook up my battery again, and then we're just gonna hope and pray that this is what finally fixes my car. Because if not, then I don't know. Like I really don't know. Like, yeah. Alright guys, so I'm picking up this vlog like a couple days later. I think I got it figured out. So your old ignition switch, if that starts to go bad, then it's still gonna be sending power to certain areas of your car. I think that's what my issue was, with this. And not only that, but like certain electrical components are gonna stop working in your car, which will explain why this wasn't working. I think I got it working now. Last time I picked up this camera, I was at like 3 something on the trip meter. We're at 5.5. So obviously I took it around a little bit and it's working. My theft light, I figured out that used to stay on even when my car was turned off. Like normally you drive around for a little bit and then that turns off. Mine wasn't doing that, but I think with the new switch in it, I got that figured out. The only thing I haven't gotten figured out yet is if my gas tank is working, because you know, last time I drove it I was about like 3/4 or a little bit over 3/4, and then obviously, you know, my temp gauge is out. I think that might be a thermostat. You know, we'll get to that when we get to that. Another thing I figured out, let me show you guys. Oh yeah, my car's kind of a mess because I've been trying to like figure this out. I got tools everywhere, parts everywhere, but here, let me show you guys. Key in. The car starts, right? The car is on. Now watch this. Key is out. Car is still on. So, I mean, that, I feel like that might be a problem. So I'm probably gonna have to end up fixing that too. I mean, I got every other gauge working. Got these two, that one, speedometer. Like you guys can see, like my gas gauge is, I'm running on empty right now, basically. I don't know if that's accurate or not. I'm about to go fill up my tank just to see if that moves or if it does anything. And then if not, then we got more work to do. I splashed about like $10 worth of gas in. My tank went from pretty much empty to about halfway full. Been driving around for a little bit, you know, nothing's really changed as far as, you know, everything working, which I'm really happy about, because this car, I was ready to just light the bitch on fire because, you know, this thing was being very stressful, very annoying. I think with that new switch, we got this figured out, and I'm gonna drive around a little bit more just to, you know, really make sure we're good, because, you know, project car, you never know. But I think we're good though. Like, I genuinely think we're good. Everything is still working fine. Gas tank hasn't moved, so I think we're good. Like, I think we finally fixed it. Who knew that such like a simple fix could solve my big ass headache that I've had for the past 6 months. That's gonna go, so I'm gonna head back home. 6 months later, after replacing the gauge cluster, all the gears, the lights, a whole bunch of fuses, the speed sensor, and now finally the ignition switch. The car is finally fixed. It's working like it's supposed to, and honestly, I couldn't be happier, bro, because this was just such a headache. It's all good now. We're good. Just gotta put this back together, I guess. Alright, so that's gonna be it for this week's video. Just want to go ahead and apologize for not uploading last week. I've literally been dealing with this headache for the past like week and a half, 2 weeks. I don't even know now, but we're good. The car actually starts and stays on now. Thought I had a parasitic draw. I might have had a parasitic draw, I don't know. Ignition switch, that fixed a whole lot of the issues. And my theft light doesn't stay on anymore. So all in all, I'd call that a dub. But anyways, just like I said, that's gonna be it for this video. Drop a like, comment down below. And you know, don't forget to subscribe because I make Mustang videos every Monday.